Let's get it on then, shall we? Mwah. Welcome to Sex on the Peach, your weekly hump day dose of everyone's favourite untalked about topic, sex. Let's get honest, let's get open, let's get comfortable, and let's get into this week's show. Good morning, everyone. Happy hump day and happy Sex on the Peach day. I'm your host, Peach, and today we're going to be following up with part 2 of the bedroom besties that sex ed forgot. Last week we looked into all the different types of lube that are available to you to enhance your pleasure and your sex life, and discussed the reasons why lube is such an important addition to your bedroom antics. And this week we're going to be looking at our other very important bestie, sex toys. Now, sex toys have been gaining more and more attention over the years. They're becoming more mainstream and are finally being talked about more openly. People are becoming more open to using sex toys to intensify their sexual experiences, which is amazing, but there are still plenty of negative attitudes towards sex toys. However, as always, we have to try not to blame and immediately eye roll, as much as we may all feel like it sometimes, as we have to remember that these negative attitudes towards toys are often based on misconceptions or outdated beliefs. But hopefully, by educating ourselves and others about the benefits of sexual exploration and using sex toys, we can help reduce stigma and promote healthy sexual practices. This is one of my favourite topics, especially as someone who uses sex toys on a borderline daily basis. So I hope that this episode can provide some helpful information and build your confidence towards using sex toys if they aren't already a part of your sexual practice. We'll be looking at all the available types of sex toys and how they can help stimulate different parts of your body, discussing how to communicate about sex toy use with a sexual partner. I'll obviously be giving you some of my recommendations, including my number one sex toy, which gave me the 8-second orgasm. And as always, I'll be answering some of your questions. So, let's get into it. Here is Dildo or Dildon't. Okay, oh my God, I'm actually so excited. Here we go. So, what is a sex toy? Well, sex toys are devices designed to enhance sexual pleasure, both for solo use and with a partner or partners. They come in various sizes, shapes, and materials and can be used to stimulate different erogenous zones on the body. Sex toys provide a safe, fun, and fulfilling way to explore one's sexuality and experience pleasure in new and exciting ways. We're going to get into each of these in significantly more detail, but for a brief overview, some of the most popular sex toys include vibrators, dildos, anal plugs, and male masturbators. Vibrators are usually used to stimulate the clitoris, whilst dildos can be used for vaginal or anal penetration. Anal plugs are designed to be inserted into the anus for added stimulation, and male masturbators are designed to simulate the sensation of a vagina or anus during masturbation. Now, these are just the most popular toys that people try. Honestly, hold the fuck on because we're going to have a real deep dive into them, I promise. Sex toys are a very valuable tool for self-exploration and pleasure. We all know I'm all about the time to yourself to figure out your own body and your own path to pleasure. And I cannot explain how very, very helpful toys can be in that. I've spoken in a previous episode about the fact I was bought my very first vibrator for my 16th birthday by my 3 best friends at school. Honestly, huge shout out to them. Thank you for my first orgasm, friends. I took that thing home that night and immediately got to work. I only used the vibrator part of it as a clitoral stimulator, as I had absolutely no idea what lube was all about at that time, and there was no way that thing was fitting inside me. But anyway, I had my first orgasm, which left me feeling like, what the actual fuck just happened? And that set me right off on my sexual path. I can also say that I have never faked an orgasm in my life. And I wonder sometimes if that's because I started figuring out my own body and where felt good at that young age, and I wasn't willing to pretend otherwise. Sex toys are actually one of the 3 most common ways that vulva owners reach orgasm, the other 2 being fingers or a mouth. So, for any shame surrounding sex toys, fuck that. But I always highly, highly recommend people spending time with themselves and their own bodies with their toys so that they can figure out what feels best for them, and then they can pass that information on to their partner. Because toys are fantastic for exploring new sexual experiences and enhancing intimacy with a partner. They can be used as a tool for foreplay or as a way to increase arousal during intercourse. Obviously, as always, it's important to approach them with an open mind and to prioritize communication and safety. It's important to discuss preferences and boundaries beforehand and to choose a toy that both partners are comfortable with. But with the right toy and the right mindset, sex toys can add a whole new dimension to your sex life. A very common misconception is that using sex toys means there's something wrong with your sex life. But that's not true at all. It's absolute nonsense. We're going to delve into how to communicate with a partner about sex toy use, but I'm sure we've all come across a sexual partner who has been hesitant to get sex toys involved because they think of them as competition. And they might even try and belittle you for asking to use or try them. But essentially, this reaction comes from a place of insecurity, a feeling that sex toys are a sign of weakness or inadequacy. People sometimes think that using sex toys means they are not good enough in bed or that their partner is not satisfied with their performance. This is simply just not true. Sex toys can be used to enhance intimacy and pleasure for both partners. So that means more pleasure for you too. Sex toys are not your competition. They are your teammates. They also increase fun and add some variety to your sex life. Why would you want to deny yourself that? Of course, yes, there will be some people who are genuinely just not into toys, which is absolutely fine. But that is something you don't know without trying. So, if you've just decided that you don't like toys without ever even giving them a go, honey, I'm going to ask you to strongly reconsider. Another misconception is that sex toys are only for women and vulva owners, but that is also not true. There are plenty of toys that are designed for men and penis owners, and toys that can be used by people of any gender, all of which we are, of course, going to get into. There's also the negative belief that sex toys are only for people who can't find a partner. Lol. Friends, I've had so many partners that my family be having to cut people out of their wedding and event albums and Photoshop new partners in. Like, there's been a fair few. Those loves might be over now, but the love for sex toys has indeed remained. Unconditional, you might even say. I jest, but trust me, my sex toy usage has certainly never stood in the way of me finding a partner when that's been something I've wanted to do. In fact, luckily for me, most of my partners have been very into that side of things. People of all relationship statuses and sexual orientations use sex toys. Again, it's just a way to belittle and shame people for being comfortable in their sensuality and confident in their sexual self. Fuck them by go and turn your vibrator on, hun, because these attitudes are what cause the social stigma surrounding the use of sex toys, which can make people feel uncomfortable and judged. We've even been told to believe that sex toys are dirty or wrong, whether through media we've consumed or the overinflated and overpromoted opinions of people with small minds and huge egos. Basically, the people who will never listen to this podcast, but need to the most. Yes, there are people who may feel that using sex toys is immoral or goes against their personal values, and whatever you want to do, you do. But don't be putting those thoughts onto other people. There is nothing wrong or immoral about consensual sexual exploration with the use of sex toys. You deserve better, booze. Remember and repeat to yourself again and again that sexual exploration and pleasure are a normal and healthy part of human sexuality. And according to a review of research published in the Journal of Sexual Medicine, the use of sex toys is associated with a range of positive health outcomes, including improved sexual function, increased sexual satisfaction, and reduced stress levels. So, there. First of all, it's important to use sex toys that are made from body-safe materials. Look for toys that are made from silicone, glass, or metal. I know glass and metal may sound jarring, but they are actually a great option. Someone may prefer a soft and flexible material like silicone because it gives a more skin-like feel, while other people prefer the firmer material like glass. Size will also be important to consider, as some people may prefer a smaller toy. Me, I'm people, whilst others will go larger, which will all be dependent on anatomy and experience level. It's also very important to clean your toys regularly to prevent the spread of bacteria. And of course, always use plenty of lube. If you need any advice on that, you can refer to last week's episode where there's more information on lube than you can probably bear to listen to. But using a toy improperly or with the wrong lubricant can cause irritation or injury to the genitals or anus. And this is kind of the boring bit, but it's important to use sex toys properly and follow the manufacturer's instructions for cleaning and storage. But if you're a beginner, my main advice would be to start slow and be patient, because it can really take some time to figure out what kind of toys work best for you. So don't be discouraged if it doesn't feel amazing right away. I mean, I only just discovered the toy that feels the best for me at the end of last year, and I've been using sex toys for over 15 years. And most importantly, have fun whilst exploring. They're called toys for a reason. Okay, here we fucking go. First, we're going to look at sex toys that can be used both solo and partnered, but are mostly geared towards vulva owner pleasure. Number one, and probably the most popular type of sex toy, vibrators. They come in a variety of shapes, sizes, and materials and are designed to provide stimulation through vibration. Some common types of vibrators include bullet vibes, wand vibes, rabbit vibes, and G-spot vibes. Now, this is one of the main things that I have to say when people see sex toys as a threat. As unbelievable as a job you might be doing in giving your partner pleasure, you can't vibrate. It is physically not possible, and it is a sensation that is potentially going to feel amazing for your partner. Because toys can literally reach and stimulate nerve endings that we just cannot. So why would you not want that for your partner? I know I get pleasure out of my partners getting pleasure, and that is an attitude that I would love everyone to have so that we can all just be one big pleasure-loving family. So, the vibrator. It's gone through a bit of a journey. The first vibrator was actually invented to treat depression and anxiety, or hysteria as it was known then. But essentially, it was considered as a medical treatment, not a place of sexual satisfaction. Crazy, hey? But even still, the positive benefits were recognized. I've been honest multiple times on this podcast about the fact I generally have to have 2 orgasms a day to feel fully functional and at my best. And toys allow me to do this in a very short space of time when necessary. Next up, it became a device considered a personal massager, which was released in 1968, the Hitachi Magic Wand. It was supposed to be sold as a back massager, but that's not the route it went down, and we're all thrilled about it, to be honest. We all think the Rampant Rabbit is a super cute little design for dual stimulation, but actually, the first rabbit-shaped vibrator was made by a Japan-based company where it was illegal to create penis-shaped products, and therefore their way around it was to create a sex toy that instead looked like an animal. I am here for the innovation. Congrats to you, my friends. And we certainly do not live in a world where vibrators are all penis-shaped. They, in fact, come in all shapes and sizes, and there has never been a better range out there for you to start choosing from. And you can get either external vibrators, internal vibrators, which could also be considered a vibrating dildo, or dual action vibrators that can stimulate you both clitorally and penetratively at the same time. They can be used solo or partnered, and as we've mentioned many times on this podcast, research shows that only 18% of people with a vulva orgasm from penetration alone. And the vast, vast majority need clitoral stimulation to hit the big O. So a vibrator is a great way to get the clitoral stimulation necessary to climax. Now, a lot of my recommendations will be from the company Bellesa, because that's where the majority of my toys are from due to working with them. I'd like to say at this point that I would never recommend something that I haven't used and enjoyed myself, but feel free to take from all of this what you will. I will drop a discount code at the end of the podcast in case the sound of anything takes your fancy. My personal recommendations on the vibrator front are all from Bellesa, and I have 3. If you're a beginner, the Demi Wand is a great place to start. It's an external vibrator made from silicone. It's non-porous and body safe. It's also waterproof, so you can use it in the bath or shower, and it's rechargeable, so you don't need to worry about having new batteries to hand. It's a wand-shaped vibrator, and it is very quiet and discreet. So not one you have to worry too much about if you live with other people and want to keep things on the down low. I would also say in general, when selecting a toy, opt for one that you personally find visually appealing to you. It might sound silly, but if you actually enjoy how it looks, you'll subconsciously feel more comfortable holding it and exploring with it. And the Demi Wand is just super cute. It has a flexible neck that allows you to get the angle and pressure you're after and doesn't have any annoying pattern modes. It does have a flatter top surface than some other vibrators, which people might find get in the way a little during partner play. So that might be something you need to play around with, or just keep that little friend to yourself. My next recommendation is the Aurora, which I believe is actually Bellesa's best-selling vibrator. The Aurora can be used either internally or externally, as it can stimulate either your clit or G-spot. Again, it's a great way to start out if you haven't tried many or any sex toys before. It's again waterproof and silicone. All of their toys are made of the good stuff. And it's very simple and sleek. Not something you'd be embarrassed to have on your nightstand. It's very easy to control with just the one button and is a great shape to use for partnered play externally during penetration. The Diosa is also a great similar model that looks the same but offers dual stimulation. And potentially one of my favourite toys I own, the Boss Bitch Lipstick Vibe. Now, I usually have this baby everywhere I go because it literally looks like a lipstick. This is a small bullet clitoral vibrator, and it's compact, discreet. It can literally live in your pocket. Also, bullet vibrators can be great for beginners because they are small and very non-intimidating and very, very easy to use during partnered sex. So, they are my favourite vibrators in my drawer at the moment, but please do also send over your recommendations should you have any. Next up, we have dildos. Dildos are sex toys that you can put into the mouth, anus, or vagina. While they are designed to simulate a penis, they don't have to look like one, and in fact come in all different materials, shapes, and sizes. Some dildos are also curved in order to stimulate the prostate or G-spot. So listen, dildos have been around for thousands of years. Archaeologists actually unearthed a dildo about 28,000 years old in a cave in Germany. We love to see it. Dildos are a great toy for people of all genders and sexualities. They can provide internal stimulation to the G-spot and prostate, as well as other parts of the vagina or anus. They can also play a psychological role in arousal and sex play if you are engaging in kink or fetish. Sexual medicine experts also sometimes recommend dildos as part of therapy for those with vaginismus, something you can learn more about in episode 4 of season 1 with my friend and guest Katie Faye Morehouse, or even for people who experience pelvic floor muscle spasms. There are many, many different kinds of dildos. The most common one you have probably come across are dildos that look like a penis or a vibrating version of that, as already mentioned. You can also find dildos that are made to be strapped on with a harness. This may most commonly be used between vulva owners who are engaging in penetrative sex with other vulva owners, or vulva owners who are engaging in pegging with a penis owner partner. You can also find double-sided or double penetration dildos, which are meant for two partners to use at once. Dildos that are made with a suction base to adhere to a surface, and also glass and metal dildos. Now, glass and metal are actually the safest materials for sex toys as they are odorless, non-toxic, non-porous, and easy to clean. But people do tend to prefer a skin-like feel. If you want to experiment with temperature play, metal dildos can be heated up or cooled down. The warmth can help relax the muscles and loosen the body, whereas cooling it can help numb the area and make it more sensitive. Obviously, make sure to always use lube, and that will need to be a water-based lube. And most importantly, metal dildos can conduct electricity, so please do not use them near any electrics. Glass dildos feel amazing for some people because they are very smooth and slippery, allowing an easy glide in and out of the body whilst the firmness of the glass provides some intense stimulation. Glass dildos are very strong and durable, and there should be absolutely no chance that they would break inside the body. However, you do need to check them for any chips or cracks because that could cause cuts or scrapes when used internally, and is actually one of the reasons I personally steer clear of glass dildos. That's only my personal preference though. A lot of people love a glass toy, and as long as used with a water-based lube, they can be great for both vaginal and anal penetration. However, if you prefer a softer touch, silicone is going to be the best option for you, as it is flexible and comfortable to use. It's also hypoallergenic and easy to clean, which you can literally just do with water and soap or a sex toy cleaner if you prefer. I usually use clitoral stimulation toys or vibrating dildos, but in terms of an actual dildo recommendation, Balesa do a luxe dildo in multiple different sizes, all made of hypoallergenic silicone, which are also harness compatible. So you can find a size and fit that works best for you. Now, we need to take a minute for what is going to be my favourite section of this episode, and also my 3 favourite recommendations. Okay, here we go. The clitoral suction toy. Game changer. People also refer to them as clit suckers, but I gotta be honest, I don't even love that being done to me in real-time oral. However, this just hits different. I don't know, but wow, these toys are absolutely sending me. The orgasms? VV intense, my friends. It's just a different sensation. It's rare, it's unique, and that's because they don't just stimulate the nerve endings on the outside, they stimulate the entire clitoral structure. The clitoral stimulation toy took the clitoral vibrator and smashed it to pieces, in my personal opinion. I am literally recommending them to everyone, because if you aren't using one on yourself, you gotta use one on a partner. It's like necessary. Okay, we got to talk about these recommendations because I've got 3 different types for you, and listen, if these change your life, you can thank me later. First up, the Bellesa Pebble. So this one offers you clitoral stimulation and vibration. It's aesthetically really fucking cute with its gorgeous little charging case. It's built to sit really comfortably in your hand. It's great for beginners. It's waterproof. It's got suction. It's got vibration. It's not quiet. So that's one thing to take into consideration with the Pebble. Now listen, yes, it is one of my favourite toys, so it does not deter me, but sometimes it's giving power drill. Honestly, it's shocking how something so small and cute can produce so much noise. A little bit like me, really. Lol. It's one I recommend often, alongside number 2, which is the Bellesa Air Vibe. And very recently, I woke up to a voice note from a friend of mine after I recommended this toy to them, letting me know that they had just squirted everywhere from the Air Vibe, something they hadn't done in years, and that they were fully ecstatic. Now, I don't want to say I'm doing God's work, but friends, I'm doing God's work. The Air Vibe is a dual stimulation toy. It's giving clitoral suction and G-spot stimulation, and my loves, it's intense. Again, it's cute as fuck, and it's very flexible, so you can make the internal part work to fit your body however you need. I personally have to use a fair bit of lube with it, as I do anything that I'm going to use penetratively. And just remember to use a water-based lube with this toy. So, this can give you a dual orgasm. And if that happens at the same time, good luck to you, my friends, because I laid there for about 15 minutes after the first time I used this toy and needed some time to recalibrate. Like, was I floating away in a bubble of post-orgasm bliss? I think so. You do also have the option to control the 2 sections separately if it's a bit too intense for you, which it might be to start off. But Bellesa states that this toy is their shortest time to orgasm ever. Sounds like a treat yourself Wednesday to me, babes. And okay, the number 1 sex toy for me, the Satisfier. So after hearing my friend Kaylee McKnight speak about this toy on episode 6 of season 1, my best friends bought me this toy for my birthday just last year. And well, surrender to the Satisfier, my friends. Don't even think about it. I don't even understand how it's so good. It just is. This is the toy that delivered me an 8-second orgasm. What even is this madness? I've used it solo. I've used it with sexual partners. It has a range of intensities, so this is even really, really good for people who are particularly sensitive down there. Friends, you gotta get it. Get yourselves a clitoral suction toy for yourself or your partner. You deserve it. In fact, as soon as I finish recording this episode, I know exactly what I'm going to be doing, and I'm literally excited about it already. Okay, so you all know this next area is not my forte, but here we go. Anal play toys, butt plugs and anal beads. Butt plugs are toys that are of course designed for anal play. They typically have a tapered shape that allows for easy insertion and a flared base to prevent the toy from getting lost inside the body. And anal beads are a series of beads that are also designed for anal play. They are typically made of silicone or other body-safe materials and are used to provide pleasurable sensations during anal stimulation. So although I haven't found any of them yet, your anus is in fact full of nerve endings, and for penis owners is also the gateway to the prostate, also known as the male G-spot. People assigned male at birth can use a butt plug to achieve a prostate orgasm, and people assigned female at birth can use one to indirectly stimulate the A-spot or the G-spot. If you are into kink, they can also be worn during submissive play. They can be worn in public, and you can also use them to engage in some double penetration action by wearing one during vaginal penetration. Lube is not optional when it comes to butt play. Not having enough can lead to irritation and tears and potential infection. Not this for you. And speaking of infection, washing and disinfecting any sex toy before and after use is a must. Even the cleanest anus can contain microscopic fecal matter that can cause infections, as well as the fact that sexually transmitted infections can also be spread by sharing sex toys. Proper care and handling of sex toys can reduce that risk. A little discomfort when using a butt plug is normal, but they shouldn't cause you any major pain. So take things slow and take stock of your own body and what it's saying when you're using them. Anal beads may be more comfortable for beginners as they allow for slightly easier insertion, but the same rules apply. Use lube, take it slow. Obviously, I'm not your gal for a personal recommendation, but after some vast research, some good recommendations for beginners are supposedly the B-Vibe Novice and the Itty Bitty Booty Delight. So I'm sending you all the love and luck in the world for your anal endeavours. Let's also talk about toys for penis owners for a second. I do absolutely appreciate that the sex toy area is primarily vulva owner pleasure focused. But there are toys out there for penis owners, and there is no shame to be had from using them. I've seen so much shade directed towards penis owners who use sex toys, and it's a big no from me. Stop gatekeeping how other people derive pleasure and focus on yourself. So to start, cock rings. These are mostly used during partnered play. However, they can also be used during masturbation. Cock rings are toys that are designed to be worn around the base of the penis. They help to increase blood flow to the penis, which can help to enhance erections and prolong sexual activity. A cock ring works by slowing the blood flow back from the erect penis, allowing it to stay harder for longer. And it can also increase sensation, which can make masturbation, oral sex, and intercourse more pleasurable. And its slowing of the blood flow can also result in more powerful orgasms. Cock rings shouldn't really be worn for more than 20 minutes at a time, so if you're planning on being in it for the long haul, you may have to take some breaks. As always, use some lube to make it easier to get on and off, and try to use one made of silicone or a flexible material so that it can stretch to your size, because the last thing we need is a cock ring cutting off your circulation. And as with any toy, stop using it if you feel any discomfort or pain. Cock rings have had quite the glow up, and us vulva owners can thank the Lord for the invention of the vibrating cock ring, because that baby is a great shout for stimulating you during penetrative sex. And also, it's a great handy little vibrator to use all over each other's bodies and discover your erogenous zones. So many options. The Halo vibrating cock ring by Bellesa. Unreal scenes, my friends. I recommend it to penis owners, and I recommend it to vulva owners who have sex with penis owners. I promise you, it's going to spice everything up for you. in only the best ways. Another great toy for penis owners are prostate massagers. And these are toys that are designed to provide prostate stimulation. They typically have a curved shape that's designed to hit the prostate gland and help people with penises massage their prostate more effectively. The vibration adds more stimulation to the prostate, causing those with less sensitive prostates to orgasm where other stimulation would not. They can help stimulate the prostate more effectively than fingers or other sex toys because the vibration stimulates both surface level and deeper nerve endings. Prostate vibrators also provide much quicker motions than a finger or other toys can offer. They are often relatively slender with an angled head to help target the prostate. And as always, I would recommend a silicone option for both flexibility and genital well-being. And listen, prostate vibrators and massagers aren't only for penis owners who identify as gay, bi, pan, or queer. Anyone with a prostate can use a prostate vibrator for extra stimulation, no matter what their sexual orientation might be. If it feels good, then that's all that matters. And they can also be used without a partner as a form of masturbation. Just do what feels pleasurable for you. Again, not an area I can offer a personal recommendation for. However, after further research and discussion, it appears the brand Lilo are the most popular and loved when it comes to these toys, with the product Billy 2 considered best for beginners and the Hugo considered the best overall prostate massager. These are some of the main kinds of sex toy out there, but toys are a universe waiting to be explored. Even further for penis owners, there are sleeves or fleshlights, which are soft tubes that you put your penis into that mimic the feeling of penetration. These come in all shapes and sizes and often have different textures on the inside for more sensation. Seriously, the possibilities are endless. There are also sleeves that are specifically designed for those with a larger clitoris or smaller penis, particularly for those who identify as intersex or trans men on hormone therapy. I was even sent an oral sex simulator not long ago. Literally, it had a fake tongue and everything, and I was kind of so excited to try it, and it was not good. Seriously, it was truly quite terrible. So listen, toys aren't always a sexual success. I definitely lay there feeling very confused and a little bit stressed, which is something I don't really like to be associating with oral sex, my fave thing in the world. There are also specific partner toys that I'll be explaining further in one of the questions. I was even recently introduced to the O-Nut, which is less of a toy and more a sexual aid, but this is an intimate wearable that allows couples to customize penetration depth and helps people to avoid discomfort from deep thrusting. Like, what an amazing invention! As someone who was with a partner who was far, far too big for me for a long time, something like that would have helped so much. There are strap-ons, vibrating panties, thrusting dildos, nipple clamps. It's never ending, as this podcast episode would be if I went into full detail of every toy out there. What there isn't yet is a toy designed by me. It's definitely on my bucket list to create a sex toy and have people out there using the peach. So any companies who want to collaborate, you just let me know. But don't worry, toys are a huge, expansive topic and one that I will be continuing to talk about for literally ever. There are also other types of sex toy or sex aid such as handcuffs, blindfolds, whips, etc. But these will be saved for a more bondage-inspired episode where we will explore kink and fetish further. Okay, so even though I can bang on about how introducing sex toys into a relationship can be a fun and exciting way to explore new sensations and enhance intimacy, that doesn't mean it's always going to be easy. And some people will still come up against it with their partner. So before I move into your questions today, let's discuss some tips for introducing sex toys into your relationship or sexual partnership. Number 1, you know exactly what it's going to be. Communicate with your partner. Be sensitive to the fact that these conversations can be hard and can make us all feel vulnerable, especially if we aren't sure if our partner is going to be up for trying new things. But you can't just be throwing a toy into the mix and hoping for the best, especially for someone who may feel unsure. So before introducing this into your relationship or sexual practice, it's important to have an open and honest conversation with your partner. Discuss why you want to try using sex toys, what types of toys you're interested in trying, and how you think they might enhance your sexual experiences together. Always remember at the heart of it that this is something for you to experience together to gain more pleasure, and remind each other it's nothing to do with a lack of anything in your existing sex life. And also, ask questions. If your sexual partner is a little resistant to sex toys, it's reasonable to ask them why. It may be that they had a bad experience with a former partner and may not want to give it another try, or a less than stellar time with a sex toy but are willing to give it another go. The important thing is to listen to your partner and find a way to work on your desires together as a partnership. It's not one of you against the other. Many people are sensitive about their sexual performance. We aren't at the point of sex being an ego-free zone anytime soon. And also, we weren't taught that sex toys and sex aids are the way to go. So be sure to frame it as an exciting thing to try as a team. It's not a replacement for your partner's body. And suggest even searching for toys to try together. This gives you the chance to explore, to take the time to learn even more about each other's bodies than you already know, and what feels good for your bodies when it comes to toys, and to keep experimenting with different toys and techniques to find what works best for you. If you are complete beginners, I would suggest starting small and simple, like a bullet vibrator or a basic dildo. It's just a good starting point to begin your play together. And that can help you both get more comfortable with the idea of using sex toys before moving on to more advanced or complex toys. Of course, it's very important to respect each other's boundaries when introducing toys into your relationship. If one partner isn't comfortable with a certain toy or activity, it's important to listen and find other ways to explore and enhance your intimacy, even if that means putting a pin in it and coming back to it when you've explored other areas of toys. But above all, have fun. Using sex toys should be a fun and enjoyable experience for all sexual partners. Don't be afraid to try new things and experiment. Sure, something might not work out, something might not feel good. Sex is silly and messy and real. Laugh it off and try again. Or try something else. And remember that it's always all about exploring and enhancing your sexual experiences together. And the goal is always fun and pleasure. Okay, let's get into your questions for this week. Question number 1. Do you have any recommendations or tips for beginner penetrative sex toys? Mainly for the purpose of pleasure, but more importantly for smear tests. I'm 29 and haven't had one. I know it's super bad. However, some backstory. When I eventually booked an appointment, I was not sexually active at the time, and the doctor told me it was not necessary as there was low risk. Then when I booked again, they tried but couldn't get it in for lack of a better expression due to the non-penetrative sex. I want to keep myself and my wife safe and healthy, so any advice would be greatly appreciated. Okay, so yes. I'm so sorry that you've had such a horrible experience with the doctor, but please do look into getting your smear as soon as you can. I say that as someone who had a lot of cervical issues in my early to mid-20s, and I don't want anyone else to be in that position. My advice would be to start with something small and simple. It's best to start with something that's not too intimidating in size or shape. I'd say consider a small dildo or vibrator with a smooth surface and no fancy features. A dildo might feel a bit more concentrated, So a vibrating dildo might be a bit more comfortable in terms of giving you some alternative sensation to focus upon. For a simple dildo, I would suggest going for something like the Bellesa Luxe in the smallest size and seeing how you go. You may want to work yourself up to a larger size, but definitely start yourself out with the smallest one available. For a vibrating version, the Aurora, as previously suggested in the episode, might be a good place to start. And there is also a softer version called the Aurora Soft Touch, which is also a little smaller. There's also a soft touch bullet, which is primarily used for clitoral stimulation, but you could look at using it for insertion if you wanted to keep it super, super small. Sites like Love Honey will also have a vast range of toys like this, so that's another great site to check out. If you wanted to go for something a little less sexualized to start, I know that Katie mentioned the vaginal dilators that she had used to help with her vaginismus, so I will put the link for the silicone versions of those in the show notes in case they can provide any help. Do make sure to choose body-safe materials, stick with silicone as I don't think that glass or metal is going to be the answer here, but do avoid toys made from jelly or rubber as they can contain harmful chemicals. I know silicone and good materials can make sex toys a little more expensive, but I think it's so important when we are putting things inside our bodies to keep it safe. Always use lubricant. I know a lot of people are becoming more accustomed to using lube during sex, but not so much with their sex toys. But it's so important. Make sure it's a water-based one that you can use with your toy, as this will reduce friction and increase comfort. Don't use silicone-based lubricants with silicone toys, as they can damage the material. Take your time and start slowly with your toy. Use some breath work as you go, as if this is your first time being penetrated, it is going to feel strange and you may need to give it a couple of goes. And don't feel weird about that. Also experiment with different positions and angles to find what feels good for you. Everyone's body is different, so what works for one person may not work for another. It's important to listen to your body and stop if anything feels uncomfortable or painful. I really hope it goes well for you, and please do keep me updated, and please try to have your smear soon. They are an uncomfortable enough experience to begin with, so I hope that your doctor can make it a bit more comfortable for you moving forward. Question number 2. I sometimes find being penetrated while I use a clit-stimulated toy to just be overwhelming, and I can't quite get into a rhythm to come. I definitely need the clit stimulation to come, so do you recommend just waiting until after my partner has finished to use my toy, or introducing it right at the end? I can totally understand this. It can be a bit of an overwhelming sensation when there's everything going on at once, but I am right there with you, and I also need the clitoral stimulation to come, so I got you, don't worry. I don't know what kind of toy it is that you're using, but I would say using lube with your toy will definitely make the experience better for you. So if you're not using lube already, try incorporating that into the practice and see if that helps, as it just makes everything way more comfortable. If it's a clitoral suction toy or a vibrator, I would suggest starting it out on the lowest setting. Or actually, if it is a vibrator you're using, invest in a clitoral suction toy, because that may well be your answer. But yes, start out on the lowest setting and allow yourself the build-up. Vulva owners need the build-up. Penis owners who have sex with vulva owners, I'm going to need you to hear that. We need the build-up. And that's no different during penetration. You may need your partner to go slower so that you can get more involved with the toy. Also remember, there's no right or better way to have pleasure through sex with your toy. So if you want to wait until the end to introduce it, and that feels good for you, then that is of course absolutely fine. Or if you want to wait for your partner to finish, and then maybe they can use your toy on you to help you get to the finish line, that could be cool too. I'm glad that you are already in a position that you are using toys in your sexual time together, and I'm hoping that means you have an open line of communication about this stuff. So maybe you could let your partner know that it can all feel a bit overwhelmingly stimulated, and maybe have a session where you play around and try things out to figure out what feels best for you. That might be due to position, speed, intensity of the toy. There are so many things to play around with, and it's totally fine for your partner and yourself to have a sexual time where you figure that stuff out together and explore it. Your partner will want you to feel pleasure, I would hope. And so taking this time together is important. You don't want to get stuck in a rut of feeling like you have to wait for them to finish for you to then use a toy. So have a talk about it and ask if you can try a few things out to see what feels best for you. Mutual pleasure is always the goal. But I would definitely suggest some lube, a clitoral suction toy rather than a vibrator if you aren't using these already. And then just take it slow, play around, find what works for you, and keep communicating. Let me know how it goes. Remote-controlled vibrating panties, yay or nay, especially for long-distance relationships looking to keep things spicy. Yes, yes, yes. I'm a huge, huge fan of a partnered toy. It is literally one of my favourite things. The suspense, the stress. When will they turn it on? Will I orgasm in public? Thrilled about all of it. And the best thing is, these can now be controlled by apps, so you can literally be in another country and playing with your partner's pleasure. Absolutely buzzing in all of the possible ways. I have previously used couple toys in the We Vibe range, and I highly, highly recommend. These can be found on multiple sites, but I believe I got mine from Love Honey. I currently have the lovely Ditto 2, which I got from Bellessa, which is both a clitoral and G-spot stimulator, and the remote control magnetic Nika vibrator from Love Honey, which is purely a clitoral stimulator toy. Both fantastic. However, I believe they only work via remote from a specific distance, but they are so fun. Although I'm not sure if I've mentioned this on the podcast before, but I did once wear one to a press night with a partner, and the vibrations were so strong that you could feel it on my body. And he left it going whilst I was speaking to my agent at the time, who then went to hug me goodbye. Not my favourite moment of all time. So the partner toy situations can definitely leave you with some fun, albeit potentially embarrassing stories and sticky situations. But seriously, I am so into these partner toy situations, and I'm so happy for you both prioritizing fun and pleasure in amongst your long distance relationship. I believe that We Vibe and Satisfyer both have products in their range that can be controlled by apps across countries. So I am so here for this. And please do let me know what you go for and how you get on, because I am yet to try one with an app. So excited for you both. My boyfriend has recently suggested that he would like to try pegging. We are in a very open and explorative place sexually, and I'm happy to try it. I just feel like it's something that's a bit out of my comfort zone, and I don't really know the best place or way to start. Do you have any advice for the toys we should use? Well, for a start, congratulations to your boyfriend for communicating their sexual desires. It's not always easy to voice these things, and also to you for being open to exploring this with them. I don't know if you have explored anal the other way around, but as with any kind of anal play, the essential things to remember are lots and lots and lots of lube. Please refer to last week's episode for recommendations of anal lube. Taking it very, very slow. And most importantly, continued communication throughout. Asking how it feels, if it's working for them, especially as you'll be using an independent object. So you won't be able to physically feel with your body if something is up, like we sometimes can during penetrative sex. I would also suggest starting small. Maybe try some play with your fingers if you haven't already, before going straight in with a toy. You may have already done this, but I wanted to suggest it just in case. It's a good idea to let the person being penetrated choose the toy or dildo they want to use, so they can select a size they are comfortable with and a style they want to be penetrated by. For pegging beginners, I would suggest the Bellesa Luxe dildo in the 5-inch, as it's smooth and slim and will reduce friction. It's easy to feel overwhelmed by the many options out there, but this toy is also harness compatible, so it's ready to go for all your pegging needs. Or you can look into buying a kit, as there are some out there that will include everything you need to get started, like the Love Honey Beginner's Strap-On Dildo and Harness Kit. Even if it feels silly, it's a good idea to wear your harness and dildo for a little bit before going straight in, so that you can get used to how it feels on your body. Most importantly, it's your partner's first exploration into this too, so they won't be expecting you to be a pegging expert on your first go. You are in this together. Take it slow and have fun with it. It might take a couple of turns and things might go wrong, and just remember that's okay. Sex is playtime, and it's okay to laugh things off and try again. If it all goes well, congrats on your new sexual adventure. And if it's not for you, then it's not for you. But you won't know until you both try. Sending you both literal good vibes. Last question for today. No man has ever made me come as efficiently as my trusted toy, and I find it hard to enjoy penetrative sex as much now that I've seen the other side. Help. It's okay. Do not stress. It is so common for women and vulva owners to feel this way, and to feel like this is something to be fixed. But listen, you're not broken. It's incredibly normal to only orgasm with a sex toy. As already mentioned, the most common ways for women to orgasm are with hands, a mouth, or a toy. So you're right up there with the rest of us. There is no best or correct way to reach climax, and so your orgasms achieved with a toy are just as valid as those without it. It is also very common for people to find that they become reliant on using sex toys to achieve sexual pleasure, and this can affect their ability to enjoy sexual activities without them. It's very easy for us to form habits if you're stimulating your body in the same way every time. I've been very honest on other episodes about the fact I can go through phases of literally masturbating in the same way twice a day, and I have to force myself to mix it up every now and again, because you just become reliant upon that type of stimulation to orgasm. This can make it more difficult to experience pleasure in general during sexual activities with a partner, or when masturbating without these forms of stimulation. The best way to break those habits is to practice masturbation in different ways. Sex toys are essentially a power tool, or a beautiful little miracle in my opinion, that get the job done quickly and more effectively than manual stimulation. But it's important to remember that they are an incredible addition to our sex lives and sexual partners, but not a complete replacement. Reaching orgasm the old-fashioned way is going to take a lot longer if you're used to using a sex toy. The average time it takes a woman to orgasm with a partner is 40 minutes. And the Satisfier has me done in 8 seconds. So listen, I know what you're saying. And if you feel that you aren't enjoying penetration with your partner at the moment, that may be a separate issue that needs addressing. Do you use the toy together? And if not, could you incorporate it during your time together so that your partner can be a part of it and it can be a part of your collaborative sexual practice? I'm not suggesting that you tell your partner outright that you aren't enjoying penetration anymore, but maybe a conversation and sexual check-in are due to have a discussion about things you could try to make penetration a little more comfortable and enjoyable for you, so that you can enjoy all of it, as I'm sure your partner wouldn't want you to not enjoy penetrative sex with them. Keep it sensitive, and remember that your sex life is a journey you are on together. You're a team, and it will ebb and flow. Penetration doesn't have to be the be-all and end-all, and truly, it shouldn't be. So maybe even look at taking penetration off the table for a little bit, even if just for a week, to explore all of your other options together and rebuild the tension for penetrative sex again. I actually have an episode about that coming up soon, which may help. Don't go cold turkey and eliminate your toy, as this might lead to frustration, but you can start to change things up a bit. Start introducing a manual practice again. Make sure to use lots of lube, but use your hands to build up arousal and to get you close, and then switch to your toy for the final moment. Keep trying this, but each time introduce your toy a little later, with the eventual aim of being able to get all the way to orgasm without reaching for the toy, just to get yourself out of this habit. You can also try masturbating in different positions and with different styles of toy, just to add variety to your orgasmic repertoire. But don't be hard on yourself. There's no right way to receive pleasure, and the most important thing is that you are experiencing pleasure in whatever form it may come in. But my advice is to have some explorative time to yourself to see if you can orgasm without it. And also see if there's a way to incorporate this into your sexual practice with your partner so that you can enjoy your together time again. Well, if you are still with me, thank you for listening. I could talk about sex toys for literally days because I'm out here giving it gadgets and gizmos aplenty, and I just think they are such a fantastic addition for all of you, no matter what your relationship, sexual, or gender identity. There's something out there for everyone, and I truly hope you find what works best for you. If anything does take your fancy, please do feel free to grab yourselves 20% off at Bellesa with the code BBSOTP20. That's BBSOTP, like sex on the peach, 20. You can also grab the link from my link tree on my Instagram page. I hope that today's episode has made you feel more informed, more comfortable, and more confident with using sex toys. And if anyone does decide to go on a toy journey, please do let me know what you choose and how it works out for you. Sending you all good vibes and plenty of orgasms. Next week's episode is the Ask Peach of Season 2. So please feel free to start sending over all of your questions about literally anything. No holds barred. And I'll see you next week. Thanks for coming. Thank you for tuning in to Sex on the Peach today, and I hope that you enjoyed this week's episode. You can find and follow me on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok at Sex on the Peach Cast, and you can also get in touch with me at sexonthepeachcast@gmail.com. Please do continue to like, share, subscribe, rate, and review wherever you listen to your podcasts, and I'll see you next week. Love.